You told reporters in New Hampshire last week that you think, quote, outlawing private insurance in a very short period of time is a bit too disruptive, and I would not do it. So how do you support Medicare for all and not outlaw private insurance?
Well, there's a way to provide Medicare for all that does not prohibit private insurance. And the goal has to be to demonstrate to the American people that this Medicare plan is superior to your current insurance without pulling the rug out from under you and saying that the insurance no longer exists.
Bernie Sanders' own campaign manager said about your stance on this, come on, you either take on corporate greed that rots the system or you don't. That you're calling this Medicare for all, but when you ask about the substance, you still want to keep private insurance, which is not Medicare for all. How do you respond?
It's funny because we had an internal debate about this. Like, what does Medicare for all mean? If you look at it, what does it say? Medicare for all, which means that you have a Medicare program that everyone can be enrolled in.
So you're adopting the label, but not the bill?
That's correct.
Is that a little disingenuous to people looking for that, that flavor of a Democratic candidate, but if they don't know the substance of your plan?
Well, we're clear about the substance of our plan in various places, and we're going to have a more detailed rollout of the full plan in the days to come.
Yang is on board with impeachment.
Just so we're clear, what you just heard, Andrew Yang admitting, no, I am not on board for Medicare for all from the standpoint of the bill. Yes, I am calling whatever I'm coming up with Medicare for all, in this kind of weird esoteric way as if Medicare for all wasn't a real thing. Just so we're clear, this is Medicare for all. Medicare for all is a bill. Medicare for all, 2017. This was written by Bernie Sanders. There's a corresponding one written by Jamarl. The reason I'm always specific about calling it a bill is because if I call it a bill, I know exactly what I'm talking about. All of these other people ultimately just wanted to use the name of Medicare for all without actually using the substance of Medicare for all, which is, again, a bill. When Sanders is talking about Medicare for all, he's talking about a bill. When everyone else is talking about Medicare for all, they're lying. They're lying. Medicare for all is not this esoteric thing. Underlying it, it's single payer. If you're not for single payer, then you shouldn't even use the term Medicare for all at all. I did a video last month. This one. Andrew Yang is caught, nailed by reporter, lying about Medicare for all. Fact. He doesn't support it. Despite what he's using in his campaign videos, Andrew Yang is lying. I said this over a month ago, and I've been right about all this. Whether it's about Warren, whether it's about Yang, whether it's about the Russia stuff, this channel has been consistently right on these items, despite people who are part of the Yang gang who didn't necessarily like me making that point clear. Wait till his healthcare plan comes out, Jamarl. Maybe it's indeed Medicare for all. I didn't have to wait for his healthcare plan to come out. She's asking him questions about whether or not he supports Medicare for all. He says no. He even goes so far as to say, yeah, we talked about it in our campaign strategy meeting. That means that somebody like me had to raise their hand and says, well, look, if you're indeed supporting Medicare for all is a bill. At the very least, it's single payer. And if you're not for the bill or some version of single payer, then it is dishonest for you to use the term Medicare for all. And you're only using this to confuse your audience and to make them think that something that you are doing is in any way kin to what Sanders is doing. You're being dishonest. Well, Yang has put out his healthcare plan. And what do you know? What do you know? Do you think that Yang's healthcare plan is Medicare for all? And how long do you think that Yang can skate before a reporter notices that what he's put out is nowhere akin to actual Medicare for all? I tell you this, it doesn't take long, and he gets owned by this and is left flat-footed with nothing to say about it because it's just an obvious, downright, flat-out, flat fact. Rational human being looking at it, lie. He's just lying. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal, Patreon. The contributor appreciation is going to take place on Tuesday night. My wife and I are going to have a bringing in the New Year's show, meaning we're going to bring in the New Year's here on the Soapbox. So instead of having contributor appreciation on Sunday like we typically do, we thought bringing it in on Tuesday would be just a better format, or at the very least a better spot. There are a lot of people who don't necessarily have people to be around on New Year's, not to mention, I think it will be fun. You're my audience. And I enjoy doing the show, and I find myself enjoying those moments like Christmas or New Year's where we all just kind of hang out and have fun. I gave Yang a fair chance. Go look back. I gave him a fair chance. My pet peeve, though, is the lying about Medicare for All. Meaning, Medicare for All is a bill. Either you support it or you don't. If you don't support it, come up with your own plan and name it something. All of these people who are using Medicare for All, Medicare for Choice, Medicare for people who want it, Medicare for people with bad backs, Medicare for people with three-legged dogs, all of these people are using the term Medicare for whatever because they want people to think that it is somehow akin to Medicare for All. Now, many of the other candidates have been more honest on this, at the very least naming it something else. Medicare Choice, Medicare for those who want it. They've named it variations. Tulsi Gabbard, Single Payer Plus, whatever you want to come up with the naming of it. Let's just be very clear that the use of Medicare for All or Medicare for whatever is used to some degree confuse, but to make people think that what you're talking about is akin to the actual Medicare for All. Yang goes on Sunday News and apparently is ill-prepared to answer a basic question. And I suspect he's ill-prepared because he's basically just outright lying. His healthcare plan is out at this point, meaning you could compare Yang's healthcare plan with Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan, or Elizabeth Warren's healthcare plan, or Pete's healthcare plan. None of those people claim that what they're talking about is Medicare for All. All of them claim that they are going towards Medicare for All, but ultimately those people are supporting a public option. Yang is not even supporting that. Put it in context. Yang is not even supporting a public option. This is not conjecture. His plan is out. He is not even supporting a public option. And he's calling that Medicare for All. One of the reporters who, like many of us, knew Yang was full of it on this. This reporter has the goods, and he wants to know, why is Yang calling his plan, the most conservative plan of any of the other Democrats in the race, Medicare for All? Why are you lying to the public?
Okay, I want to turn to your healthcare plan, because you've just released a new healthcare plan, and I'm a little bit confused about where you stand. First, I want to play clips from two of your ads where you talk about healthcare.
We need to move towards a Medicare for All system where every American has access to quality and affordable services.
His ideas are a blueprint for a new way forward. A healthcare system with Medicare for all.
But I've looked at your healthcare plan. In fact, I've got it right here. And this plan does not call for Medicare for all. In fact, it doesn't even have a public option. So why the dissonance here?
We need to move towards
Just so we're clear, what Yang has been asked. Two commercials have been played with Yang saying Medicare for all. One commercial doesn't even make sense, because if you're going for a Medicare for all plan, this notion of out-of-pocket bills go away. So saying more affordable in the context of people in their health care, well, it's affordable because they don't have out-of-pocket expenses. But he's asking him a very basic question. You have videos saying that you are supporting Medicare for all. I have your healthcare plan here. You're not even supporting a public option. Medicare for all has certain things like, single payer, no public out-of-pocket expenses, and getting rid of insurance companies. That's what Medicare for all is. How are you calling this healthcare plan Medicare for all? Very basic, straightforward question. Let's hear Yang's answer.
universal health care that's high quality and nearly cost-free for Americans around the country. But reality is we have millions of Americans who are on private insurance right now, and taking those plans away from them very quickly would be untenable for many, many Americans. To me, the goal of the government has to be to demonstrate that we can outcompete private plans and then push them out of the market over time. And that's what we're proposing.
That's a moot point. That's a moot point. It doesn't matter that you're talking about pushing them out over time and all this other stuff. Your healthcare plan is out. That healthcare plan is not even a public option. How are you calling your healthcare plan, the most conservative of the field, Medicare for all? And all of these people who are yelling at me about this, come to account. Come to account. He's lying. Now the question becomes, where's Crystal Ball? Crystal Ball loves to boost Yang. She loves to boost Yang. What about Crystal Ball getting Yang on the show and asking him about this? And making the point to him that you're lying to your audience and you're doing a disservice to the people who are supporting you by lying to them and saying that what you're supporting is any way akin to Medicare for all. You're being dishonest on its face. This is just massively dishonest. This is not even, a political lie. This is just a lie. Call it what it is.
I'm confused. Your ad is explicit. Your ad says Medicare for all. Your plan is not Medicare for all. It's not even Medicare for some, because in your plan, there's not even a public option.
Our plan is to expand a universal healthcare system to all Americans. Medicare for all is not the name of a bill. Medicare.
No. Medicare for all is literally the name of a bill. Medicare for All Act of 2017. What are you talking about? You're lying. You're lying. Own it. You got caught lying. Medicare for All is literally the name of a bill. Medicare for All Act of 2017. What is Yang talking about? What is he talking about? I understand that there may be some people who are part of the Yang gang and love Yang. But the reality of it is, if you're honest with yourself, Yang has been lying to you about the support for this amorphous, esoteric Medicare for all, and getting caught on it. He goes so far as to say Medicare for all is not a bill. Unfortunately for Yang, it is. It is. You've been caught lying. Let's keep going.
Medicare for all is universal health care for all Americans.
But Medicare for all is Medicare for all, right? I mean,
well, our health care plan would be based on Medicare and expanding it over time to more and more Americans. You lower the eligibility age and then you make it widely accessible.
Okay, I didn't see that in your plan, but
yeah, okay. Nobody did, because it wasn't there. Because it wasn't there. You got caught lying. This doesn't look like Medicare for all, and your excuse is, well, I mean, we're gonna expand universal coverage because that's the idea of Medicare for all, and Medicare for all is not a bill. And he's like, well, no, Medicare for all is really Medicare for all, and this is not Medicare for all, very plainly and clearly. And you can't necessarily say the guy is wrong, because what Yang is pushing is not Medicare for all. This is not even a political lie. He needs, look, you can support a candidate, but let's just be clear right now, in this moment, Yang is lying. Own that. Downvote this video all you want. Own that. I've been saying it for months. He is lying about Medicare for all. I would love Crystal Ball to bring Yang back on the show and ask some very specific questions about this. And yeah, for the most part, torture him with this notion, you're being disingenuous, you're being dishonest. What you're pushing clearly is not Medicare for all. Are you for single payer? No, you're not for single payer. Then how are you calling this Medicare for all? And this notion that Medicare for all is an esoteric thing, it's not. This is why I was always against this idea that people can call whatever they're coming up with Medicare for all. It's dishonest on its face. Just $1,000, bro. The Asian man that wants to give you money has just been caught lying. Like, share, subscribe. Majin Bull, I'm so done with people handling Yang with kid gloves. Why don't Dora and Crystal Ball stop giving him credit where none is due? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I think Cristobal believes that Yang, for the most part, is being treated unfairly by media. That's true. That he's been treated unfair in the debates. That's true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you acquiesce when the guy that you've been boosting is lying. MAGA Zog. I gave Andrew Yang 100 because he doesn't want to force me to use my guns. Other Democrats will make me get out the guns and body armor too. Jesus Christ. That's a little intense, MAGA Zog. Majin Bull 17, his only leftist policy, UBI, is funded on tax on workers. He sees nothing wrong with capitalism at all. He's a liar and a cornball. Look, I made the point before that ultimately this whole $1,000 a month thing is just a bribe. Essentially, let the rich keep their cash, let them keep control and ownership of the means of production. We're going to give you $1,000 and you're going to go away and live your life subsisting as you will. It's not that I don't think the $1,000 would be helpful. I think the $1,000 would be helpful if you gave it clean. None of this going after services and welfare and all this other stuff. Give it clean. And you give it because ultimately there are all sorts of resources in this country that we, supposedly, the public, the United States public, we're supposed to some degree have ownership of our land and our oil and our gas and all this stuff. And the government gives this stuff over almost at dirt cheap prices. Not to mention the investment that we put into things like the internet, the investment we put into telecommunications, the spaceship, the technology that was reaped from the spaceships. Those things are for all intents and purposes given away. I'm making a point that it shouldn't be given away. If a corporation opens the door for you, they're going to charge you a nickel for the privilege. Why on earth is our government handing off things that should be philosophically within the public's interests to corporations? Yes, the public should get a stipend. Yes, I believe the stipend would be helpful, meaning the UBI, the way Yang wants to do it. It's just a bribe. The issue is ownership of the means of production. And I'm sorry, Sanders' plan on this is better. This notion of having workers having more control and ownership in the places to which they work, that is a better strategy for dealing with this kind of wealth inequality. The catch here is what Yang wants to do is just say, here, take $1,000 and leave me alone, leave me to my devices. Sanders is looking at this more long term from the standpoint of until workers have some control and agency over the places to which they work, nothing changes. And this income distribution continues to stay the same. One is structural change. The other one is just bribing people to leave you to your devices. Just being honest. Yang also frequently changes his website, Majin Bull. That was another issue that people made the point of, that he changed his website and something was there before. Yang UBI is a bribe to get votes. No, I don't think it's a bribe to get votes. No, that's not true. Don't get me wrong, there may be people who vote for him for something like this, but that's not really it. I mean, this strategy is so out there that even though I don't necessarily think the UBI is horrible on its face, that it's not something that would be a game changer in regards to people voting for it. The issue is allowing the wealth and power and political might to remain in the hands of a few. And you do that by saying, look, the rich have done extraordinarily well. If we give you $1,000, let us maintain control and ownership of how our society is run. Meaning a small number of people making decisions for the majority of the public. Nothing changes with the UBI in that context. They keep their wealth. The only thing that's taking place is the workers are being bribed off. Between workers having ownership or agency within the context of the means of production and how we produce goods and services in our society and how resources are allocated, it doesn't change it. It doesn't change it. Just saying. Emmanuel Morel, hey you. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. All right, I'm going to end this. Again, the contributor appreciation, we're going to do that on New Year's. We're going to have a New Year's Eve special that brings in the new year. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I do know that sometimes there are people who don't necessarily have anything to do on New Year's, and we can all cobble together. My wife is going to be here with me, so we're going to hang out Join us if you will. The contributor appreciation is typically done on Sundays, but again, we're going to push this to New Year's so we can have a New Year's Eve special. So I'll leave this here. UBI would reduce poverty by 84%. Ambrose Adriano, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true at all. They'll just sell you an expensive pill for the UBI, the Salt Lakers. Yeah, look, again, I'm not against the UBI in principle per se. I'm more so, I think, against the way Yang is talking about using it. Frank Trujillo. After all, Social Security did amazing things in regards to the reduction of poverty. 84% is, I think that's somewhat comical, but whatever. That's almost besides the point. The point of this video is to point out that Yang is lying through his teeth. And I hate to tell you this, that poverty is not always entirely what the person has in their pocket. It's also the services that the government itself provides. Meaning, if you're making $30,000 a year and you don't have healthcare being covered by something like Medicare for All, or you don't have college covered by something like a college plan, then your life is far more expensive than if you're making $30,000 a year, plus having Medicare for All and having your college expenses covered. Those things are different. Even if you got $1,000 a year, but you still had issues with your health care, that $1,000 a year is going to get eaten away, and still had issues with college, that is going to get eaten away. And not having agency within the context of your job. Those things are, I would argue, better than the $1,000 a month. Again, even though I agree with the premise of the $1,000 per month. It's just, Yang is lying here. Krillin76, I got crushed by Yang Gang for calling out his YouTube vid. Yeah, he's lying. Yang Gang can say whatever the hell they want. He's being dishonest. He's being dishonest. I'll leave this here. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks all.